It is Wednesday, and that means it's BRAP time. Yay. We got a great show. We got my man, Dark Animus. We got Beat Money here. We're going to have Slow-Mo Backslap Gaming Forte joining us here shortly, and then we're going to have a special guest joining us as well. But let's go ahead and officially get the show to... I can't even talk. Let's officially get the show started right now. Hello. What is going on? I don't know what's wrong with me. What's up, everyone? We are back. Welcome to BRAP. By the way, thank you, everyone. For those who joined us in the pregame on Twitter Spaces this evening, appreciate you all stopping by. Dark Autos was there as a co-host, and we also had Everborn Saga, who stopped by as well, and Upper Room stopped by as well. We were talking about Battlefield and Nintendo, things like that, a little bit of RPG talk as well. So appreciate everyone coming by for that. But please, everyone, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Today's been kind of crazy. By the way, I just dropped the link in the chat here. Please retweet. But today's been kind of crazy. I'm really behind. I usually get the link out about, it's between 2 or 4 p.m. In the afternoon, but I didn't get a chance to get to it because I was busy with work and then had to cut the grass and stuff. So apologize for that. But we got a great show. We're going to talk about some PlayStation stuff, PlayStation shocking gamers, and then a new exclusive that just came out that shows what I think are the possibilities of GamePass. So we'll talk about that and probably some other random type of gaming related topics. But first I want to introduce returning guest, my brother from East LA. Odele! My man, Dark Animus is in the house. What's up, Animus?
What's up, man? Happy to be here, dude. Always like coming on BRAP. It's a fun show, as always.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
we pride ourselves in being fun, being informed, things like that.
But there is one thing that you have to do, and that's play B Money in 2K22. So you still haven't done that yet, and I feel like you're still ducking him, man.
Oh boy, you had to bring that up, Animus.
I did. I have to, man.
Yeah. So funny thing about that. Well, let me introduce the one, the only. Let me tell you something, and I'll say this again, and I've said this on numerous occasions on this show. If you're not following B Money 101, if you're not listening to what this man says, you need to follow him right now on Twitter, B Money 101. And you need to listen to this man when he speaks. B, you called it. You called it. And we're going to get into what you called. But you were the only one that called this for the Sony PlayStation event last week. We'll get into that later on. But B, great to see you, man. And no, I'm not ducking you. I've just been, I don't know, waiting.
I feel like that's just an excuse, to be honest, but the same.
No, it's all good, man. I'm glad to be here. It's another great Wednesday night. It's BRAP, so I'm always happy to be here. I ain't saying I know nothing, but it kind of is what it is, man. Like Enrique said, when I speak, y'all need to listen. That's really about it.
This is true, B. B, man, we gotta figure out, because I do have NBA 2K22. I have it for PlayStation 5. I think you have it for PlayStation 5 as well, right?
I do.
All right, so we got to figure out when we can get together and do this stream so that, we can finally, put this to rest, the whole B Money versus BRAP and NBA 2K, that we got to do that, man. So I don't know what your weekend looks like. Maybe we do that this weekend or something, but we definitely should get together soon. I think it'd be fun, man.
Yeah,
fun.
We'll definitely talk behind the scenes and we'll set it up.
Yeah. So I've been I guess for me, B, I think I've been busy playing some other games. I've been busy with Ghost of Tsushima Rivals, which is the new multiplayer aspect of that game. And I got to say, guys, look, I feel like I don't talk enough, or I don't give this game enough props. But Ghost of Tsushima, oh my goodness, what a game! Not just it's funny, B. Sony gets hammered a lot for not having quote unquote exclusive multiplayer games, right?
Right.
But they have Ghost of Tsushima, which has multiplayer content, and it's good. Yeah. Rivals, man. I got my man T-Rock 40 the live chat. Him and I have been playing Rivals, man, and it is fun, man. It's 2 versus 2, 2 teams going against each other to complete the objective of I think like you have to like reach it's almost like I guess you could kind of count it as, it's almost like what's it called? Horde mode in some ways, right? With a little bit of like territory sprinkled in, I guess is probably the best way to describe it, right? Yeah. Is that a good accurate description?
Yeah.
So big shout out to Upper Room CM. He's like, how does Rivals work? So that's essentially how Rivals works, man. It's basically like 2 teams against each other. A door opens, you go in, you fight enemies, you got to collect these orbs, and then you can like buy items to like prevent your the rival team from advancing, and you could do that by blocking them from buying stuff that can prevent you from moving forward or beating enemies. And some of those things include like you could curse the other team, right? So they have like half health or something, or they have slow revives, or you could set a shade. A shade is basically like another enemy that's harder to kill that appears, and then they have to fight off the shade before they can buy something. So it's really cool. I don't think this game gets enough attention. It's one of my favorite multiplayer games so far this generation. It's great. Like it's, even though like Tales of Arise came out, B-Money, and like NBA 2K2, man, like I have been hooked on Rivals, bro. And I've been with like T-Rock, and I've been playing a lot, man. It's been a blast. It's been a blast. And I think Autobus, I think we and then we also I think last week played what's it called with you? I forget the other one, which is like the true horde mode.
Yeah, we played what's it called? I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, man, it was fun. It's a fun game, man. I enjoy Ghost of Tsushima, the single player. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy the multiplayer, but after playing with you guys, yeah, I mean, I enjoy it a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, it's just a great game. I just feel like it just doesn't get enough attention. And hats off to Sucker Punch. Like just I mean, phenomenal work by that team, right? And B-Money, I gotta say, man, like I had The Last of Us Part 2 as my game of the year.
Yeah.
Man, I think I might have to give it to Tsushima now. Can you change? Can I change? Can you change that? Can you go back? So, you know what? Yeah, retrospective. Can you do that, B?
I mean, mine was Ghost of Tsushima last year, so.
Yeah, mine was Ghost, man. I don't see how you pick Last of Us sober, but to each his own. But you bumped your head last year, and you're coming to your senses, so it's all right.
Oh my God, you trying to say I got a concussion, right? Yeah. Couch Gaming describes Rivals as pretty much similar to Gambit and Destiny. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison, because Gambit's like that, where you have to I forget Gambit. You have to like put the things in. I forget what it is. I haven't played Gambit in a while, but yeah, that's actually
is Gambit the one where you like go through the portal or whatever?
Something like that, or I forget, but it's like that. You have to like beat enemy waves and do stuff. I don't. Yeah, but yeah. So no, just excellent game that doesn't get talked about a lot. All right, let's I want to talk about Battlefield 2042, because yesterday broke that there was more delays coming. Our good buddy Jeff Grubb broke that, and then later that evening, I believe it was Dealer mentioned that that 2042 would be delayed, maybe, and I don't know if he said till 2022, but I started hearing 2022 this morning, and then I think more recently EA's come out and said no, in fact it's going to be November. They pushed the date back like a month, essentially, from October 22nd out like 3.5 weeks or so. B, I did be it Optimus. I did hear from people who have played the alpha that the game's not that good, man. Like it's not like I didn't get specifics, but I did hear that it's not great. Are you guys worried about this game with the delay and that we haven't? I mean, we really haven't seen any like true gameplay just yet, right?
No, we haven't seen true gameplay yet.
And we would have been about a month out of release. I mean, are you worried about this?
I mean, I'm worried because it's EA, and like EA hasn't launched a good Battlefield game in quite some time. So it's just like, you get my hopes up. You show, a couple of amazing trailers of what the game is potentially going to be like, and then, we run into the same situation where the game is probably going to launch broken. We're going to have to wait 6 months to a year before it's fixed, and then it'll be a good game. But it's kind of just, it comes with the territory, I guess. I mean, it's to be expected at this point. You know what I mean? Because everything else that has been coming out of EA as far as the shooters and stuff, they've all been mid. Unless it's been something that Respawn has touched. So, they had me hyped at the beginning of the year, but now it's just kind of like, I'm just waiting for it to get here at this point. There's no other shooter that I'm really playing right now. It's Battlefield is the one I typically dedicate my time to. So I'm just waiting to see what they have, and hopefully it's not as broken as Battlefield 4 was.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of with you, B. Optimus, I know we talked about this on the spaces. I don't think you really don't care about this game, right?
Yeah, that's just that's the thing. Like these shooters right now, I just have no interest in them at all, man, at all. Like I was saying on the spaces, I don't even care about Halo, to be honest. And it just they just haven't shown me anything that I'm like super excited for, and that's a big problem to me. Like there should be, especially like for Battlefield, there should have been like a ton of stuff that we saw on the more betas and things like that. And I know they're saying that they're going to give us a beta this month or whatever, but I don't know, man. They really haven't shown off, like I'm expecting these games like Call of Duty, Halo, and Battlefield to show off trailers like PlayStation did with Deathloop. Like I'm expecting to do stuff like that, but they didn't do anything like that. And it's not that I would want them to do that. It's just that like I wanted to see more of these games, and I haven't seen much of it. And I honestly, Battlefield 2042 doesn't appeal to me. I mean, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's better than Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, because those two games sucked. And then hopefully I'm hoping that Halo's good, but I mean, from what I've seen of the multiplayer, I'm not really impressed by it. It doesn't really intrigue me, but I mean, time will tell to see which one gets my money, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, Dark Optimus, because every one of the big shooters for this year, every one of them is stumbling out of the gate. Battlefield, Call of Duty, Halo, every one of them is stumbling. We haven't seen much of the Halo campaign. Battlefield, they show us 2 good trailers. It took all the way until just a few weeks ago for us to see Call of Duty. And once they put out the alpha, whatever they had running, a lot of people didn't like a lot of stuff they had as far as the gameplay was concerned. I saw a lot of people in the community, refund their pre-order. So it's very interesting that every one of the big shooters for this holiday season is stumbling out of the gate.
It really is, man. It's kind of like, it's kind of upsetting, to be honest. It's like really, like what's going on with these shooters, like, and I mean, yeah, you could chalk it up to being it's COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say, how much is that's the pandemic?
Right.
I mean,
right. How much is that?
Yeah.
is that the pandemic. Exactly. How much of it is that? Because I mean, these games have been in development for how many years? Especially Halo has been in development for a long time. Unless they went back to the drawing board and was like, we need to, we need to add this or do this to it. But I think that game's been in development for a long time. I think Battlefield has been in development probably for a long time, and I mean, Call of Duty, they do it every year, so
Yeah, but
it,
they're on a 3-year cycle, so
yeah,
they've been in development for a while.
right. And they've had time to work out the kinks and stuff. I mean, the campaign for Call of Duty, it looked cool, but like it's Call of Duty, it's like I don't get excited for Call of Duty,
Right.
unlike with Halo or Battlefield, like because we only get those like every couple years, especially like Halo, we only get that like every what?
Maybe twice a generation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
twice a generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would even argue though with Halo though, I think the multiplayer is going to be okay. It's
Yeah,
just
I
the
hope so.
campaign. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the campaign is the big question mark. It seems like everyone who did or who played the first Halo beta or alpha, whatever you want to call it, like seemed to like enjoy it a lot. So
Yeah.
but that's actually a great observation, Be It Dark, that at least from what I don't remember a time where the shooters are coming in hot, right? And it's the top tier ones that are coming in kind of hot, right?
Yeah.
With COD and and with Battlefield, and we know about the Halo challenges there, right? With the movement of key leadership positions, that's actually I think played into some of the development issues there, but. As you guys were talking, I was trying to think about a time where these franchises or these big, shooters have come in hot, and I can't think of a time. And perhaps some of it is the pandemic.
But how long?
I just don't want to see these games released broken. That's my thing.
Well, that's the thing. How long are we gonna blame the pandemic? For these games. Like we can't keep giving these games that type of stigma, of it's the pandemic, it was because of the pandemic. No, these dudes have had these games in the works for a long time now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They should have had at least a decent product by this point, and it looks like Halo, especially, like it looked like they wanted to come out in November, but then they're like, "Well, we need more time," and I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. I think they're gonna delay like you were saying, they might not delay the multiplayer, but they probably, I honestly think they might delay the campaign. But the multiplayer is free, so I mean, like.
Yeah.
At that point, like it doesn't really matter, it's free to play. So I mean, at least you get something that has to do with Halo. But yeah, I don't know, man.
All right, so yeah, I don't mean to interrupt Dark, but I don't want to forget this. And I want to go to B Money. B, you heard what Dark said. He said, I think Halo campaign is going to get delayed. Gabe Stradamus, what do you think, sir? Will the Halo campaign be delayed? What are your thoughts?
I think it's very likely that it will be.
Look, sorry, B.
I think it's very likely that we may see the campaign later on.
So when you say later on, could you see it going? Like, how far could you see it slipping? Like February 2022?
Yeah, I think February, March is probably, like, if it does slip, I think that's probably when we see it. It's like February, probably March, at the latest, because they kind of gave us a roadmap of like stuff that the co-op was supposed to be within the first 3 months, and then Forge within the first 6 months of the game being out. And if they don't start getting the marketing campaign going in the next few weeks, October and November, you want to kind of get that rolling, because the game is supposed to release December 8th. So If they don't get it rolling pretty soon, then I definitely see it.
All right, I want to
in 2022.
I want everyone to remember, if this happens, where you heard this first. B Money 101 said Halo campaign will slip into February 2022, maybe March. Just remember that. Also, remember last week what he mentioned, and we'll talk about that later, which he was right about. I want to grab the super chat, gentlemen. We have Borbor Country. I love that name, by the way. $5 super chat says the disrespect PlayStation did by putting PC on their show. I expect paying premium for the quality and exclusivity. They're free to buy PlayStation. Great show, BRAP. Borbor, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. That's yeah. Hey, I don't
man,
look.
Hey, PC is their friend. They're holding hands now, man. It kind of just is what it is.
Yeah, I would agree with you, B.
They bought Nixes for a reason. Nixes, all they do is port games to PC, so just expect more of that to come.
Well, did you guys see that quote unquote NVIDIA leak that had Ghost of Tsushima going to PC?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're right, B. They bought that company because
makes sense.
What's that, Dirk?
It makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I mean, why? I mean, look, I've had this discussion before with other hardcore PlayStation fans, and look, the argument's always devalues the brand. I don't subscribe to that belief, because I think at the end of the day, most of the people on PC are gaming on PC. They're not really on consoles, and that's not to say that you don't have any crossover, because I'm one of those individuals. Like I have PC, but I game on PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 is my go-to console this generation. Then I have an Xbox Series X. I also have a Nintendo Switch. I have it all. Oculus Quest 2. Yeah, I love being a gamer, man. That's what you know. Options, like that shit is so hot, isn't it? I got everything. I got it all.
True. Yeah,
that's right.
I love it.
Yeah, you ain't got to wave your flag for nobody, man.
Yeah, I don't have to wave my flag for anyone. Oh, okay. You know what? You Quest 2. I got VR. I got that. What? Yeah. I got a PC. Oh man, for some reason it just really hit me. I don't know why, I just did. And then, I got Artemis's mom who likes to watch me play games. So another conversation. Sorry, Artemis. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, man. I can't resist.
Never ending thing.
Actually, somebody in live chat says, what about Steam Deck? Yes. I've got Steam Deck pre-ordered too, by the way.
I think that's
as well.
Fail. I'm sorry, but I think it's going to fail.
B, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what fucking gaming's about, right?
Yeah.
Having everything.
Everything, man.
Oh my God.
You ain't got to argue with nobody about nothing, man.
No, I love it. It's great. Oh,
even though you get in them spaces and argue with people, just
well, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do kind of do it. Yeah. Well, I mean,
or on Crossfire.
Oh boy! All right. Hey, by the way, I think Predator H2O said he said something earlier. He's like, the Optimus is here. I'm out. So,
I don't blame him.
Big shout out to Pred. But I lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so the PC thing. So I don't agree. Like, I don't think it devalues the brand, because again, I think that there's certain people that are only going to play on PC, had no interest in buying a Ghost of Tsushima or a PlayStation just to play those games, right?
Right.
But now all PlayStation's doing is just open up another revenue stream, and given the increasing cost to make these kind of games that we love and cherish from PlayStation, they cost money. Right. The cost of development goes up every generation. I'm not mad at Sony for doing that.
But you see all the games that are on that list, they're all PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah, that's a great point, man.
You know what I mean? So like, people can get mad at it. It's Ghost of Tsushima. It's technically a PS4 game. Yes, they just did the remaster. Yes, there's still content that you can play on PS4 and PS5. But they're kind of staying true to what they said, as far as like not going day and date. That's not currently in their plans. So if those games happen to go to PC, like, nobody should be mad about that, man. You had your chance to buy that game when it came out 2 years ago. If you didn't play it, oh well. Like, it's still available on PS4 and PS5. Now it's just available on PC. Stop crying.
And I think that's the problem, right? Is that people cry about this stuff, and then it's like, does it really matter? Because, I mean, if you want these games, if you want PlayStation to continue to make these big blockbuster budget games, like, where do you think that money's going to come from? It's not going to come from just us playing on console. That money's going to be coming from people who are playing it on PC. Because you know how PC players are. They'll, especially if they're a console gamer and a PC gamer, they're going to double dip. So that just means that we get more games on our end. You know, if you're a console gamer, especially if you're a console gamer, you're going to get more games on your end. And then the PC crowd's going to get games too. So it's a win-win situation there.
Yeah, it absolutely is, man. It's a win-win, yeah.
And everybody isn't blessed to be Nintendo. Everybody's not selling 25 million per game out of the first party. You know what I mean? So
or making profitability off their hardware day one, right?
Right. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's a business, man. And if you ever ran a small business or ever had the idea of running a small business, try doing it yourself. And you will understand, you know what I mean? Like, you got to take in revenue, wherever that can come from.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point, B. And look, these companies, at the end of the day, they're not our friends. They are in the business to make money first and foremost. It's the bottom line.
Exactly.
I mean, they're pro. We want to make money. They're not pro consumer per se. I mean, obviously they want to do things that appear pro consumer so they can get our money. At the end of the day, they're all about the shareholders, their bottom line, and that's it. If you smell what the Rock is cooking. So that being said, though, real quick, so we have got like 132 people watching. Please we got like 28 likes. Hit that like button. Come on, we got Dark Optimus here. His mom's gonna pop in later. Give us a little show.
Man,
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Keep slandering, man. I'm gonna get you. Don't worry. I'll get you back.
First of all, I think you started this, by the way, sir.
No. Don't try to put that shit on me. You and I are both Latino, but you're not gonna put that shit on me, okay? You know what Latinos do. We talk about each other's moms. We're fucking. We talk about how, you know,
assholes.
Yeah. You know. So don't be going there.
You're right, man. Latinos do that. One of my best buddies is Latino, man. We still talking about each other's moms, and he's 46, I'm 44. No, seriously, we've been doing it for fucking 30 years, man. I'm not even making this up. We still do it. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you guys?" It's what we do.
That's it.
Yeah, it's what we do. But no, you know, and I also kind of this isn't like an official topic, but I do want to bring this up because NPD numbers came out, and you guys, like, there's been a lot of talk about the quote unquote $10 sales tax of the PlayStation 5, which is ridiculous. I think it's the worst argument. Hold on, B Money's laughing. We're gonna get to that in here in just a sec, but I want to get my man Darth Riven here, aka Slow-Mo Backslap. Slow-Mo.
I don't know who Slow-Mo is. I'm Darth Revan.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Darth Revan. Okay.
Oh,
I'm back.
Darth Revan is back.
You know, it's been 2 decades, but I'm back, baby.
I never imagined Darth Revan would say "I'm back" and then "baby."
Clearly, he would not say.
I mean, that's kind of interesting. Like, is that like a new line in the game?
You know what?
It's been 20 years.
Oh, I'm about to get messy. Hey, that might be a new line in the game. That might be what he says. Who knows with these writers, right? Who knows where they're going with the story, man? He might be saying all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't expect
those damn
to say
millennials.
Those damn millennials. I want 45-minute breaks, and I want $80,000 a year. I got no experience. Fuck you, pay me. That's kind of like the mindset.
Pretty much, man.
Look, I'm not even making that up, man. I live that. That's the world that I live in, and I see it a lot. Not all millennials are like that. I shouldn't say that, but yeah. Anyhow, I don't want to generalize here. But Slow-Mo, man, it's great to have you on, man. Slow-Mo, we were actually getting ready, and this wasn't like an official topic, but NPD came out, and I don't know if you heard me mention the $10 sale, the $10 upgrade tax, if you will, the PlayStation 5, right? That people are angry about. Yet some people that are complaining about this, some content.
We still
creators.
talking about this upgrade tax thing?
Yes, we are, because and I'm going somewhere with this, but it's interesting because I've seen some content creators who are upset about the $10 upgrade tax, but yet have tiered services within their own platform on YouTube with Patreon and things like that. Anyhow, I digress. What was I going to say? Oh, MPD came out.
When it comes to that, within their own Patreon, are you getting more from the tiered service?
You are, as you are if you the $10 upgrade tax.
Basic mathematics.
Imagine that. I pay and I'm getting more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's an interesting. Look, here's the thing. NPD comes out. Okay? Well, yeah. I mean, look, I don't begrudge anyone who says, look, I don't want to pay $70 for games. That is like, that's fine. But when you start coming out with these cockamamie type of, well, they're paywalling feature sets that should be accessible when I pay $500 for that box. What are we doing here? Really? Like, clearly there is a tangible difference between the two items that we're discussing here, right? There's key differences. Now, if you don't find value in those differences, that's fine. But let's not say dumb stuff like that. Like, that's just ridiculous. So MPD comes out, and lo and behold, Ghost of Tsushima fucking knocks it out of the park, right?
Yeah.
The market has. Go ahead, B.
Game pre-order. Like, how? Like, it's just an upgrade, but everybody had a pre-order. I knew it was gonna sell like crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, but I thought it was gonna sell crazy. But I guess it's to my point. Like, the market at the end of the day, the market's going to dictate whether or not this something works, right? And clearly it works. Like, we're going to see how NBA 2K2 does 22. I keep saying 2K2, NBA 2K22, how that does. But clearly the $70 games works. And if you look at other $70 releases for PlayStation, those games have kind of have sold well. For that platform. But I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was kind of interesting, because it's still like I still see that going around, $10 tax, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. And again, I don't begrudge anyone for not wanting to spend more money for games. That's your prerogative. But what I don't agree with is trying to put out false narratives like, oh well, they charge you $500, therefore you should have you shouldn't pay extra for feature sets, when that's always been the case for any console launch in history. But somehow that's bad this console launch. So I'll leave it at that. Dark Revan.
Yo.
That's Dark Revan. Yo, I'm back, baby.
I'm telling you, this is the new Revan, man.
Yes. By the way, Slow-Mo is voicing Dark Revan. A lot of people don't know that. We just confirmed this.
We not even about that whole. Well, I mean, honestly, Revan was never all about all the Jedi teachings anyway. But still, we ain't doing all that meditating and stuff out here, man.
Should we spoil the game for? No, we shouldn't do that. Huh?
Well, I mean, look, they may make changes to the story that could render the original story completely.
I don't want that, because there's
nobody wants that.
There's a surprise there.
This game probably not coming out for another 2 years anyway. So
what if they change the surprise, Slow-Mo?
Nah, they can't change that.
They do that.
I mean, that's like one of the bigger pillars, the foundations of the entire story. To change that would be just ridiculous. Yeah. I can't see them changing that. You got a super chat though. It's very important.
I also have someone saying that I'm only going to bring this up. We typically want to read things in color, but here we go. Oh no, not that. Some third parties have exposed Sony for charging the extra $10 to use those features. B, Any thoughts on that, man?
Who are those third parties that expose them?
I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need some more information on that one.
I'm sure Activision was complaining when they charged $7 last year.
Yeah, no Russian. Yeah, no Russian. If you could actually be a little more specific with those third parties. All right, let's get the super chat here. Dark Revan's right. We do have a super chat. Game Over Brian with the $5 super chat says, "Hey guys, great show. I test 2 of panel members' gaming knowledge for B in Legendary Sith Lord. When upgrading Final Fantasy VII remake, do trophies pop automatically? Slow-mo.
Why, yes, they do.
They
do pop automatically. So says Darth Revan.
Exactly. So says the Lord of the dark side, Darth Revan. Thank you for that super chat. Game Over Brian. All right. So I lost my train of thought. God, what were we talking about now? I'm getting old, man.
We're talking about the upgrade tax.
Man, you're getting worse than Code.
I know, man. I've been hanging around Code.
That's hard to do. That's hard.
I know his old age is starting. I need to start taking some ginkgo biloba, where the fuck that stuff's called. So the upgrade tax, whatever. So yeah. So that the Ghost of Tsushima sold well, and then we see that the market has spoken. But I do want to mention. Let's see here. I do want to talk about Deathloop. So I picked it up yesterday on PC on the assistance of Darth Revan, and then Darth Revan's laughing at me because the game apparently doesn't run well on PC. Thank you for that, Darth Revan. Are you going to buy it on PC? No peer pressure. No, actually,
well, I'm just saying, you're always saying PC and Mar. Just what are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Viceroy of the World said Ghost jumped from 110th place to second place on MPD. So there you go. Yeah. Thank you for that, Viceroy. Yeah. The market has spoken. Upper Room says my vehicle tax went up. Shit happens. I love that. He must live in Virginia. I
like it.
Yeah. Slow-mo. Oh, Darth Revan.
I don't know who Slow-mo is. This is Darth Revan.
I'm sorry. Okay, so guys, I apologize. Darth Revan is actually here with us today. It's not Slow-mo. It's Darth Revan.
I'm timed exclusive to PlayStation. Don't ask me when I'm coming out on Xbox, because even I don't know. I am coming to PC day one, though, so don't get it twisted. The superior platform.
Darth Revan,
superior Jedi.
Darth Revan, are you saying the PC is the platform of choice of the superior Jedis? Are you saying that Mace Windu plays on PC?
Who was a Mace Windu? Mace Windu wasn't even born when I was out here.
Okay,
force choking fools, man. This is what we this is what we do out here, bro. Force persuade a dude to jump off a cliff. I did that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You could like fuck with their minds or something and persuade them.
That was great.
Yes.
That was actually great. Dude
you will
to mug you. Yeah. And then you just like,
yes, and you tell him to go kill himself.
You tell him go kill himself. Yeah. He jumps off the entire platform.
Oh my god, I remember that. Oh my god, dude, that fucking game is amazing. All right,
I love that game so much, man.
Oh, it's great. All right, so Deathloop just came out. I got it on PC. Now I haven't experienced some of those stuttering problems yet. I'm only 2 hours into the game, so not a lot. But the game is actually having some issues. Performance issues, and it seems that the best mode right now is the performance mode on PlayStation 5. Is that correct, Darth Revan?
Yes, that is the best mode at the moment, and the Arcane has said that they're going to fix this stuff eventually. I may have to force choke them if they don't get it together quick, fast, in a hurry, because I want to play the game. But I'm not buying the game until these stuttering issues are done on a superior platform. So that's how it is. We do have a $2 super chat from Borbor Country. think I
yes,
said that
Darth Revan.
correctly. $2 super chat. Uncharted should be $99 on PC. This makes no sense because why would they price it as something that they know PC gamers aren't going to pay for?
What?
Be a waste of your
$99
time to put that on PC, knowing they're not going to spend $99 on. Yeah. No.
I have a theory here. I think Bor Country is actually Jim Ryan in disguise.
Oh, we need to talk behind the scenes then, Bor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I don't think Uncharted should be $99. That would never sell on the PC. It just wouldn't happen. So it's so Darth Revan is going to force choke people at Arcane if they don't fix the issues on the PC platform, or maybe influence them to walk off a platform as he did in the original KOTOR.
Fix the AI issues too, because I've seen some clips today. Oh boy, like
the AI over there just chilling.
Yeah, AI just
they're just like, chilling, not responding to you.
Invisible cups, walking past the player and just ignoring the player. Like, they got some issues to work out, which is kind of like I haven't played too many Arcane games at launch, so I don't know if Arcane suffers from the same it seems disability that Bethesda Game Studios suffers from, where games are just buggy as all get out at launch. But this is a little bit buggier than what I'm used to seeing from the Bethesda published games. Like, its software and machine games don't typically have these kind of problems, or Tango Gameworks. They don't seem to really have these kind of problems at launch.
Yeah,
this seems
it's running great on my PS5. I'll tell you that.
In performance mode.
Oh yeah,
I think Dishonored, all three of the Dishonored games ran well, but I think like the first couple weeks of Prey, there were like a few.
Prey had some issues. Yeah, no, you're right, B. Prey definitely had some issues. But I bring up Dishonored because, I think as an exclusive, I think Dishonored shows the possibilities of Xbox Game Pass, right?
Or Deathloop, not Dishonored.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Deathloop. Thank you. Deathloop shows off as an exclusive, shows the possibilities of Game Pass, and the kind of content that we can get, quote unquote, for free, right? Now, I will say this: I don't think of the 2 hours that I played Deathloop that it's a 10 out of 10 game. Like, I don't know how GameSpot or IGN came to that. I could be totally wrong. Maybe later on in the game, it's a 10 out of 10. But I could be wrong. My gut tells me probably not, because I played other Arcane games and the level design, the character stuff. I mean, those are all. I think the dialogue, character dialogue is always, I think, pretty solid. The writing pretty solid with the Arcane games like Dishonored, and the stealth elements, and the level design, I think, are like, the level design here is very reminiscent of Dishonored, and I love the level design in Dishonored, but there is that like jank per se. Like, it doesn't play as smooth, I guess, as maybe like other shooters or action adventure games. It's got that little bit of a jank, but I think that's kind of, when I remember, I think Dishonored had that too. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? And for those who've played the game, I know you haven't yet, Darth Revan. And B, I don't know if you played it. Dark, I know you played it. So I'll go to you, Dark. Like, do you think this is for what you played? Do you see a 10 out of 10 here?
I wouldn't say a 10 out of 10, man. I would say it's probably one of Arcane's better games for sure. Like, I think it's better than Dishonored. I would say I would probably give it more like an 8.5, maybe a 9. I mean, I'm not like too far into the game yet, but I wouldn't definitely call it a 10 at all. It's just there is some things that I don't like about it, but there are also things that I absolutely enjoy about it. Like, the beginning of it is very slow with the stealth mechanics and stuff like that. And that's definitely a turnoff for, I think, a lot of people, especially if they were thinking that they were going to come into this game and be like just doing the crazy stuff that they've been showing in the trailers and things like that. and that's not necessarily the case right at the beginning of the game. You don't really get to do that until you get better weapons and more slabs, which are basically power ups and trinkets that you can attach to your weapons and attach to your character. I mean, the story so far has been pretty cool. I mean, it's funny. I mean,
the dialogue between the woman, I forget her name, and
Juliana and Colt. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
He's like, "Oh yeah, we definitely dated."
He's all like, "Yep, we definitely dated."
Yeah.
And then there's just there's silly moments in it. I think the AI is a little stupid at times too.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Like I'll be sitting there and I'll be shooting one, and then you can hear the bullets. I'll shoot one, and then it takes a good 10 minutes for anybody else to find me. And then I just shoot them, and then
it's weird. I had an instance where they were right above me on the roof,
mm-hmm.
and they were trying to get down there. I could see them kind of running back and forth. I'm like, you could literally jump down here because I did the same thing to get down here in the alleyway.
Right. And it feels like the AI might be like the AI in Dishonored is a lot better, I will say. But the reason why I think I like this game more is because it doesn't focus so much on the non-killing in order to get the better story. Because in Dishonored, if you don't kill anybody, then it gives you a better ending or a better environment, basically, because it'll take away all the rats and things like that, and if you do kill people, then it adds more stuff, it adds more things to the game. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, it's just that when I'm playing, I'd rather have it where I can play my own style, which I'm at that point now in Deathloop, but it takes a while for that to hit that mark, so that's why I kind of give it an 8.5. I would probably lean more towards an 8.5 anyways, on this one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good game. It's definitely something that I think people should play if you can get past that beginning part with the stealth stuff. You're definitely in for a treat. I mean, it is definitely a good game. If I was going to play it, I'd play it on performance mode, though. Don't try to play it on visuals or anything like that. Play it on performance mode until they figure out what's going on with the other modes, because the other modes don't work as well as performance mode.
Yeah.
Luckily, I think the game starts you out at performance mode, so if it's running fine for you, then just play it at that mode.
Yeah.
Until they figure out, until they work out all the kinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely arcane. It's definitely an arcane game, but it's also, I think, because I know Prey came out too, and that was good, but it wasn't as good. I don't think Prey is as good as this one. I think this one's a lot better because I feel like it's more action than Prey or Dishonored has been. So I'm enjoying it for sure.
Yeah. No, Artemis, I appreciate that insight, man. You mentioned playing in performance mode. Darth Revan. I know we talked about the PC performance, and I think you said on DM that this game, despite not being visually impressive per se or demanding, I guess. I forget what you said.
The art style doesn't lend it towards actually needing. It's it's not photo realistic where you need to have a more pixels on being put in use on characters or on screen in order to get a certain visual or artistic effect. It's not doing all that, but the game is still extremely demanding on PC. If you look at the minimum spec for they're recommending on PC, it's far higher than what you would typically see, and some of their targets for like just say 1080p resolution, 30 frames per second is higher than what you expect. Although I've looked at some sources like Paper Rock Shotgun that they typically look at newer release PC games and say, look, this is what you may want to target your settings to visually on PC, or this is the kind of hardware that we use, and these are the results that we got. And they found that they could get well over 30 frames per second with some of the targeted minimum specs they said that would work for 30 frames. All that said, it does have super resolution AMD's FSR enabled on PC, so you can use that in order to kind of get back some of the frames that you may be losing with some of the features set on high or very high. So I think I haven't played it. I shout out to Kay Asante. Actually, I was streaming earlier today, and he was in the chat, and he said he's got a 3080, an EVGA 3080 FTW, and he said that he was averaging between, I think he said like 90 to like 110 frames per second. With that that kind of GPU with his rig. So
is he running at 4K resolution?
I don't remember. He's
I'm
either running with a 3080. He's probably running at either 1440p native or 4K native, one or the other.
I'm doing 1440p right now and getting like 75 frames per second, but I'm using NVIDIA's recommended settings for the game.
Yeah, so like I think NVIDIA, we talked about that. I don't really typically care for using GeForce Experience to
game almost maxed out my VRAM.
Yeah, well, I mean,
which is crazy.
But I think you only have like 8 gigs of VRAM in a 2070 anyway. So that should actually the average.
Go ahead. For that game, like I feel like
man,
I like not even Cyberpunk did that. I don't think. Or maybe it did, but
Cyberpunk definitely did.
Cyberpunk's a larger world, but more visually demanding, I would think, right?
It is very much so.
Anyhow,
but
go ahead, man.
No, I think some of their recommended specs are not as demanding as they made it out to be. Everyone that I've seen that is playing the game is playing it with the same kind of hardware that they said would be for a certain level higher than what they said it would be. The other issues that take place is like the stuttering that you don't quite see yet, Enrique, but other people have dealt with it. There's some people that have a workaround for it, and I'm not quite certain if that is accurate. The workaround is that you have to get out of Steam's beta mode or something like that in order to not have the stuttering issues. I don't know, but there's that. There's frame timing issues, which is another issue in regards to. So you may be hitting an average frame rate of like say 75 frames per second, but if the frame time of those frames occurring on screen is off or not consistent, you'll be able to feel that it's not as smooth as it should be, and that's an issue that can occur as well. That's an issue I've seen people say have been going on in the game. I've seen clips of people trying to play the game, and when the stuff that I saw made it to me, I'm like, that's unplayable. And I'm very much a performance over everything guy. It could be the best game in the freaking world. If it performs horribly, I can't play it. Like, it can have the best story, the best gameplay, the best music, the best everything, the best visuals. If it performs like trash, I can't enjoy that because I'm too busy being distracted by all the other issues that are happening with the game. So hopefully they get that fixed soon.
And if they don't fix it soon, Darth Revan's going to make him walk the plank.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Let me grab some super chats here, gentlemen. Neo Eyes, here we go. Neo Eyes with the $5 Canadian. Thank you, Neo Eyes. Says, in my opinion, KOTOR is going to be console exclusive permanently because it's smart business for PlayStation to do so because they need RPGs to compete with Bethesda RPGs. Dark Revan, what do you think about that?
I think that is ridiculous, Neo wise, because it's not up to Sony to make it a permanent exclusive. This is an IP that is handled by Lucasfilm Games. So if Lucasfilm Games says, nah, we're going to put it on Xbox eventually, that's what they're going to do. Now, of course, money talks. And if you can find a price point where Lucasfilm Games will ignore that, sure. But is it worth it to you to do that, to go that far? Like, for example, Xbox could buy Take-Two, but is it worth it for them to spend the amount of money it would cost them to buy Take-Two? It probably wouldn't be worth it for whatever price they would end up having to pay. Likewise with this, for them to, after the fact, because it's been confirmed timed exclusive, developers that work on the game, the senior game designer on the game has already spoken out on this. It's a timed exclusive. They have Aspire has put it on their website. It's a timed exclusive. The game's a timed exclusive. Okay, people are using PlayStation's tweet about the game as some kind of evidence that it's an exclusive. It's their own Twitter account. Why would they talk about it being on other platforms that's not theirs? Like common sense, people. Common sense. Maybe it's not common, but still, like that doesn't make sense. Why they would talk about it being on PC if it's their own Twitter account? They're not going to talk about that. That they're going to just talk about the fact that it's coming to PlayStation, which it is. So it could very well be a case where potentially they could get them after the fact to extend the timed exclusive deal, depending on if Lucasfilm is willing to make that kind of deal that Square Enix made with Final Fantasy VII Remake. But more than likely, that's not going to happen. More than likely, because they put money in and they partially funded this, that they already had a pretty lengthy timed exclusive deal going on anyway. So if it's already 2 years, like why make that a permanent exclusive, especially if the game is no longer selling as much as it was in the beginning after 2 years? Like, what are you paying for at that point? Is that worth the cost? You feel me? When I say that,
no, that's a great point. I mean, and by the way, Neil Wise, I appreciate the super chat, but you're getting this from the horse's mouth per se. This is Darth Revan.
he has another super chat. Shout out again for the super chat, $2 super chat. It says, if Wolverine can be exclusive, why can't KOTOR? Although Disney is still the parent company for both, Marvel Games is handling the video games for the Marvel IP, and Lucasfilm Games is handling the IP for in games for Star Wars. Although Disney is the parent company, that just because one is a full exclusive doesn't mean another will be a full exclusive. That's just not how things work. These are completely different contracts.
Yeah, it's a great point, Darth Revan. I also want to get
no. I was also going to say something that he's Impatient Fire says Lucasfilm doesn't publish games. This is inaccurate. Lucasfilm Games is the name of the publishing arm for Star Wars in gaming. Lucasfilm Games was reintroduced, I think, last year or maybe earlier this year. Whenever they started to come out and they revealed that
this year.
It was earlier this year when they came out and they revealed that Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft were making the Star Wars game, and they revealed that Indiana Jones was being made by Machine Games. That was like less than a week after they had revealed that Lucasfilm Games was the thing. So that is the publishing of Star Wars and any other IP that Lucasfilm
Star Wars. Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So that's how that works.
Yeah. All right. Let me get this super chat from my good buddy T-Rock40 with the $5 super chat. It says, making your debut playthrough of the first Uncharted on PC is the definitive version of PC Master Weight. Wow. Really, T-Rock? That's savage, man.
I mean, he's not wrong, you know.
That's kind of funny though.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we have Lord Revan, Sith the Turtle of the Army's 3rd Legion.
What is up, people? Who is this imposter that is in here trying to steal my namesake?
Clearly, you are
Oh my
not
God.
because clearly I would not come in with such a scratchy voice and being unable to speak. Okay, so clearly
that's because I was being force choked by the rule of two. It was only 2 Sith lords in this world, and he was like getting on me for allowing this imposter to live as long as he's living.
You know, if you want to be Darth Malik, then you could, even though I sliced half your jaw off, but still, you could be Darth Malik, okay? Like we.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I think Darth Revan has a deeper voice than both of you, so
he definitely does.
He definitely does. Yeah,
he definitely does.
I love
who they choose to be the voice actor for him, because in the actual game, he's not voice actor. Although there's a voice actor for like literally everyone else, not him. I do wonder who would do that.
He doesn't say anything. He's just like a mute.
He gonna be like, boy.
No. He speaks. You just don't hear him.
He gonna be
like when you talk to people, you have conversations. It's very much. It's a very not primitive, but like a very earlier version of what you would see with like the narrative wheel in BioWare. Not primitive like that, but primitive in the sense that like people would speak and then you would see like options of choices like 1 through 5, and you can reply that way.
Sure,
but there and of course some of it will actually tell you like, hey, look, man, you might lose some reputation off this answer, or you might gain something off this answer. It'll be like in parenthesis on the side, but yeah.
Well, that's okay. You can share the tag, Slumber. I just want people to know, before I was a Darth, I was a Lord. I was a Jedi first, and I turned to the dark side and became the Sith Eternal of the Army's 3rd Legion.
But I was ruthless as a Sith, and that's the part that people love.
Yeah, but you weren't ruthless enough because someone. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind.
Yeah, but now we're talking spoilers. I
was gonna say something.
That's a question though. That's a question though. This game is like 50 years old at this point. So basically, so now that they basically announced that they're redoing the game,
I'm surprised Bad Bit didn't come in as a
Mr.
You're not a Darth either.
Mr. Bad Bit, what is going, dude? Let me tell you something. It's such a pleasure to see you, sir. How are you, man?
Thank you, man. Tired. started a new job a few weeks ago.
Yes, I saw that.
It's getting serious, so I'm just tired. I recorded the trophy room. It's been a whole day. How's everybody doing, man?
We're great. We have Darth Revan here.
Oh, 2 of them too.
Yeah, 2 of them at that.
I'm the one that force chokes people. I'm the one that force chokes people though. So
I'm the one that didn't forget where he came from.
No, you're just the one that just takes the shirt off when no one asks.
I think Forte should change his name to Darth Malik, though.
Ooh.
Nothing wrong being Darth Malik. Malik was cool for a while.
That was cool. That was a cool fight, though, too. The Malik and I don't want to. Okay.
That's what I was going to ask.
But here's the deal, right? Like it almost like. Even if you do kind of spoil it, it's probably about 2 years out from actually coming out. So a lot of people that's listening to this probably ain't gonna remember that. And there's a opportunity, or not opportunity, but more of the possibility that they might change aspects of the story, which I really hope they don't, because I think the story's perfect. But
with Final Fantasy,
what? Well, I would say this about Final Fantasy VII Remake: if you play through it, it's not really a remake, but more of a sequel. So to speak, and I don't want to spoil that.
That's actually a good point. It kind of
right. So it's like it is the same story, but then it veers off at a certain point, and it explains why it veered off and why things that happened previously aren't happening the same way in the remake, so to speak. I don't think this is going to be anything like that.
I approve of those changes.
Darth Revan, did you enjoy going to the Sith planet and going to the Academy? And like killing the Sith while they're sleeping.
Amazing. I love
it. It was amazing.
What's the name of the planet? Korriban. I love that part. I love going and
they'd be like, and they'd be like sleeping or something. They think you can go in and like kill them. I think. Like, could you like kill like the people of the Academy or something? I don't remember. It's such a long time ago.
Okay, so you go in.
You could like.
You go in and you are like a spy. Well, you're kind of like, so you're there. You show like as you're a force sensitive who's going to be a Sith, and so you show up. You become part of their apprentices, and then you're dealing with like all of the back and forth with the backbiting and
aren't they all like purple looking too, like or pale looking or something?
Well, yeah, but that's the cool thing about KOTOR is that the further you go into the dark side, you see the physical changes in yourself.
Yeah, you get like bags under your eyes.
Like
that was cool,
your character, like you go full, dark side. Dude,
I played middle of the road, man. I played middle of the road, but you're right. Yeah, you go full dark side. You look like you're on crack.
Going gray works, but like going full dark side, you'll start to see like veins be just fully like going through your face. Your complexion will turn gray. Your eyes will turn glassy. I'm like, am I dead? Like, am I a walking corpse now? But it looks and it's hilarious because like people will be talking to you and they'll actually will react to like your physical appearance.
Hey man, you look like shit.
Like you walk up on somebody, he's like, "Oh shit! Oh, my bad.
You smell,
man.
You smell."
Yeah. All right. So say now that Mr. Babbitt's here, by the way.
Yeah.
Now Mr. Babbitt's here and Lord Revan, who's really Darth Malik, aka Forte. Now that you gentlemen are here, let's talk about greatness.
Okay.
Let's talk about Thursday's show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about KOTOR. Let's talk about how KOTOR opened the show and just blew my mind. Like me, like look, we obviously I think many of us here are big KOTOR fans. I played the original on the original Xbox like 20 something years ago. By the way, I was also an Xbox Live beta tester. But that game was in my opinion, a pillar of the original Xbox. It really kind of helped give that console its identity in many ways in terms of these newer Western RPG style games that really hadn't been seen on consoles as much as they were on PC at the time.
It was the Star Wars that we didn't get in the movie theaters.
Thank you.
On TV.
Yes, that is so true. Like, I mean, at the time, Star Wars with Hayden Christensen was out, and wait, hold on. Hey, okay, let's set something straight. Hayden Christensen is not a terrible actor. He was a terrible Anakin.
No, well, that was the way it was wrote. As much as I listen, the reason I can understand how people, because I actually don't have a problem with the prequels as most people do. They're okay. They're not the best Star Wars movies, but the biggest thing is I think some people give Hayden Christensen a bad rap based on the character that he was supposed to portray.
He was a terrible Anakin.
As a confused Anakin Skywalker that literally didn't know what was going on with him and his stuff.
Do you remember what he said to Obi-Wan? You'll try. That's the worst.
Okay, so you're gonna
ever in Star Wars.
Well, listen.
Come on.
That's called arrogance. Listen, that was arrogance coming out. That
was a terrible example of arrogance. The guy had at that point gone full on dark side.
Wait, hold on. We gonna pull two words out of the entire trilogy of what he said that was terrible.
Come on, Forte. You're telling me he couldn't? Come on, think about the context of the fight. It's about to be an epic battle. Was he Jedi? And Obi-Wan's like, Obi-Wan has this great line, and all he can muster up is "Y'all try." Are you kidding me? Like that's the best he can muster up.
I agree. That was
Mr. Babbitt. If that was you, Mr. Babbitt,
Mr.
Babbitt. Let's say, Mr. Babbitt. Let's say you're playing Anakin. You're the role of Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan. And that scene when they're Mustafar, they're about to fight. Lightsabers are drawn. Padme's down on the ground. What are you going to say to Obi-Wan? Are you going to sit there and say, "Y'all try"? What are you going to say? How would you play this out, Mr. Babbitt?
This is a 1-to-1 replica of Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber.
That's pretty badass.
It's literally one of the few things that was good about any of those movies.
Yep, I agree.
So I don't care why those movies are bad. They're bad. Most of the prequels, except for 3, terrible movies.
3 was awesome. I love 3.
3 was good. 3 is good. 2 is unwatchable. I can't. That is the only Star Wars I have not watched.
Well, you ain't like you ain't like when Samuel L. Jackson was out there in the middle of the arena swinging his lightsaber around, and he was acting like he didn't want to be there when he was doing it.
I mean, every movie has cool parts, but
no, I'm just saying you can literally tell that Samuel L. Jackson did not want to be there during that part. It was like worth the effort. That
yeah, it was awful.
Yeah,
I'm excited for KOTOR.
Yeah, I'm
excited for KOTOR.
All right, so
there will be no slander of Hayden Christensen on the show.
Oh, okay, all right. So let's go back to KOTOR. So PlayStation show opens, we see KOTOR.
Yep.
Mr. Badbit, you're watching the show. You're probably equally as excited as everyone here on the panel, but you see KOTOR. What are your first thoughts?
Oh man, I bet this show's going to be real good if they're opening with this. There will not be a whole 20 minutes where Joe goes to sleep if they're opening with KOTOR.
I agree.
I agree with you there, sir.
That reveal is important because yes, this is something that hardcore fans are going to identify with Xbox, but most casual fans are not going to know nor care. They're just going to see Star Wars, PlayStation brands and buy the thing. But for hardcore fans, this is like, oh snap, PlayStation they're going at it in their own different way. And this is definitely going to work for them. As much as I'm not a huge fan of like these type of exclusives, they do just print money. And I think what PlayStation has learned as their consoles sell is brands sell consoles. So like Spider-Man sold a boatload of units for, PlayStation and Marvel. And when they see things like, those Star Wars deals, the Call of Duty deals, all those things, they take a look at what's the area that we lack RPGs. Okay, how can we fix that? Let's add some variety. Let's approach a team. Let's approach Lucasfilm with an idea, or ask them what they have lined up and how we can support it and support that deal financially and see how they could get some returns out of it. Simple as that. And this one's a big deal because people like my brother who do not give a shit about any console at all looked at this and said, okay, I'm buying this. People in his Saber community, because that's where my brother nerds out on. He's part of a community that's part of the 501st. So like Luke's Saber in Mandalorian, we have that downstairs, like 1-to-1. Lucasfilm will call these Saber people in to actually make their sabers. So like Rey's saber, all that stuff we have down in the basement. It's interesting. Anyway, all those people are like, okay, so we're getting a PlayStation 5. None of them are waiting. None of them. And these are people that you're going to get sales after the fact with as well. So it's about getting people in the door, and it's about FOMO, which us gamers have a lot of. I saw a lot of Xbox people go, oh, Deathloop, I'll wait a year. And now today I saw them stream live Deathloop on PS5. So we say a big game, but we ultimately don't mean that verbiage one bit. People are weak. They're going to see this deal. They're going to buy it. Simple as that.
That's a great point, Babbitt.
That's where I agree with Babbitt there is I've said this before and I'll say this again. I do not understand the wait a year mentality. Like, I get it if you're on PC because you want to see the best quality that you can possibly see it. But when you're on console, like, why are you going to wait a year when you don't know what's coming out next year? You don't know what's coming out. You don't know if there's a good game that you want to play coming out, and then all of a sudden the game that you were talking about, touting about, and saying, "Oh man, I'll wait a year for," you just skip it anyways. So it's like what's the point of saying I'll wait a year?
None. There is none. It's it's just pandering.
Honestly. Yeah, that's a great point, Bad Bit. So Optimus, I want to go to you because you're the line of work that you're in. I think is very interesting. Can I share that, by the way? What you do?
Yeah.
So Dark Optimus is in the entertainment business. It's in Hollywood, right? I think I got that right. So from your perspective, you see this, big Star Wars franchise. Star Wars is a big franchise. KOTOR, and I think Mr. Babbitt, to your point, probably not going to appeal to the casuals much, but definitely something that resonates with a lot of hardcore gamers. And something, by the way, I think in some way this is a coup per se for PlayStation because for some time, and Darth Revan can back me up on this, that many of us have been asking for, or when the conversation comes up of remakes that Microsoft should look into, KOTOR is one of those games that comes up quite frequently. So, what are your thoughts on this, Dark Optimus? Again, Star Wars, big franchise. Do you kind of agree with Mr. Babbitt? This is going to bring some more people in. People aren't going to necessarily wait for a year. They're going to want to get this game.
I think this is one of those games that I think a lot of people are just not going to wait a year. They're like, no, I'm not waiting. I want to play it. I see a lot of people who don't have a PS5 are probably going to try their damnedest to get one, at least this holiday season. And I think we will see an influx of PlayStation 5s at the store for holiday season. I think they've been saving a lot of those consoles for that time frame. So I do not see people being like, oh, I'm gonna wait a year. I don't care. I'll wait, and then they freaking wait that year, and guess what? Something else came out, and they're like, oh, well, this came out, so I didn't have time to play KOTOR, but you were touting and saying that you wanted to play this game. You had a year to play it. You didn't play it, so it just doesn't make any sense at all. Like
somebody told me Optimus, they're like, oh, I don't care, I can play it right now on Xbox. I'm like, yeah, the original one. But I don't. Why would I want to play that version if there's a newer version out that's good? That's a modern per se.
Exactly, dude. Why would you even want to play the old version? I mean, that game is hard to go back to, especially even like even Psychonauts, like the original Psychonauts was hard to go back to. So it's like why would you even want to go back to some of these old games when they're doing remakes of them? And you can just wait until the remake comes out, play that. I just don't understand the whole. Like, I have both consoles, and I love having both consoles.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand that whole mentality of like, I'll wait. Like it doesn't make any sense to me, man.
It's like Mr. Babbitt said, FOMO's real. FOMO's very real.
Especially right now when you can get a PS5. You can get a PS5 for $500, yes, but you could get a Series S for what, $300?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I understand, like, if you can't get I understand if you can't get both consoles, but if you're seeing a game like this, you might want to go get a PS5 at this point,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point, man.
We don't know when KOTOR is going to come to Xbox. It might be 1 year, it might be 2 years, it might be, who knows?
Yeah, we're still waiting on Final Fantasy VII remake on Xbox.
Exactly.
Like, that was supposed to be what, a year? We're past the year point now, and nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It could be just exclusive to PlayStation PC. We don't know, and because it's so vague, and because they will never say.
Well, they actually came out and they if you go to Aspire's website, it says timed exclusive PS5 and PC, but then there was a developer. Let me go find the tweet. Tully Ackland, who is on his Twitter profile, he is stated as senior game designer on KOTOR remake, working for Aspire. He says lots of love and support from you all and lots of questions, echoing Ryan Treadwell, who is Ryan Treadwell's lead producer on the remake. He said, yes, it's a full remake. Yes, timed exclusive for PlayStation 5 and PC. And then talked about how the voice actress for Bastila is Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale, who was also the voice actor for female Shepard in Mass Effect, is reprising her role as Bastila Shan in KOTOR. So,
Yeah, but again, they said time, but we don't know if it's a year, 6 months, 2 years.
Exactly. It could be 2 years, 3 years. You don't know.
Right.
You're tapping into fan bases. You're not tapping into Xbox number 2 or 3 or PlayStation fanboy number 8. you're tapping into Star Wars fan stan, right? Like that's the audience you're speaking to, and those are the people that are going to end up buying those PlayStation units for this game, and those are the people that are going to be buying this game. Again, FOMO is a real thing. We always underestimate it. It is so hilarious to see time in and time out. So, this thing's going to be, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, Mr. Babbitt, I do want to kind of tie in what you're saying about Star Wars and the Star Wars stands, because there's a theme that I took away from the PlayStation event as we get into the other big game that was shown, revealed, that I think that what Sony doing is leveraging some of these bigger franchises, tying them to the PlayStation brand, getting those stands, if you will, right? There's a kind of it's brands having that kind of, I think, brand appeal under a brand that's popular in gaming, I think is huge. But I want to table that because that's a great point you just brought up. I want to get some super chats real quick though. Got BitCloud Gabe with the $2 super chat. Says my dude Bad Bit in the building. Salute.
What up?
And then we
got
Big
Cloud. He's amazing.
Yeah, big shout out to Big Cloud. By the way, if you haven't checked out his channel, I suggest you do. Great guys putting out great content, getting great guests on, by the way, as well. Yeah, keep up the great.
You got the voice actress for
from Resident Evil.
From Resident Evil, that's awesome. Yeah. Yes,
that was awesome. It was an awesome show. We got John E with the $2 super chat. Says I bought an Xbox solely for KOTOR in the 2000s. I know quite a few people that did as well. Then we got Lord Darth Revan's favorite guest here, not guest, but person in live chat, Borbor Country with $2 super chat. SIE's publishing KOTOR, hopefully 5-year exclusivity. Yeah, I think he's also the same gentleman said they should charge $99 for Uncharted on PC.
Oh, right, yeah, because that's yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, so I would open this up to the rest of the panel with KOTOR because I thought that was one of the bigger showings of the PlayStation event. Anyone, feel free to chime in. Again, KOTOR, what were your thoughts, reactions to seeing that?
But before we saw KOTOR, the biggest thing that interested me is that when they played the video of like the little hype reel or whatever, is they were playing chess.
Yes.
And then after playing chess, the KOTOR announcement came up. So, you know what I mean? I thought that was a good play by Sony. Like, yo, we know everybody on Xbox has been asking about this game. You know what I mean? For years, everybody's been wanting a remake. So it's like, oh, okay, we got y'all. Come over here and play with us. You know what I mean?
Dude, is Forte fall asleep?
I think Forte fell asleep. I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
That's my fan right here in front of me.
Okay, it's your fan this time.
How am I sleeping out?
I'm hearing this. I'm hearing this.
Sleep, man.
You have a fan in your throat? Is that what you're telling me?
Yep. There's a fan in my throat. Yep, sure.
Wait, hey, B Money, did you hear that too? I'm sure you heard that, man.
I heard it, man. I was trying to ignore it though, man.
Hey, B, real quick, man. I do want to get back to you. I'll let you get back to your point, but you brought up a great thing, and I brought this up on Crossfire on Friday. To me, there was a lot of symbolism in that chess match. I even broke it down to look at the outfits that they were wearing. Right. One, the individual that was clearly representing PlayStation was wearing all white. The individual that he beat was wearing all black. The PlayStation 5 is predominantly using white as its, the color for that console, PlayStation 5. The Xbox Series X is all black. Did you notice that as well?
Yep, I sure did.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So go ahead and finish your point, man.
The only thing I noticed is how bad I wanted that ad to end.
It wasn't a bad ad. Sony always does. They always have like little Easter eggs in their ads. So there were some pretty cool ones in this ad. Like Sly Cooper was in there. They had Infamous.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
a lot of Insomniac stuff was represented. So it wasn't a horrible ad, but I thought them playing chess and then kind of hitting us with the KOTOR, that was a good move. And then, kind of after that, it tailed off a little bit. But I thought, that was great symbolism.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. So B, let me ask you something, because you've been gaming a long time, right?
Yes, sir.
You had the OG Xbox.
Yes.
Do you think this is a miss kind of for Microsoft, considering that the fans have been asking for this game? Some fans have. I don't want to say all fans have, but many have. Like, it's certainly a game in conversations that I've had with multiple Xbox gamers or people that go back to the original OG Xbox that they identify that game with and have wanted a remake when they talk about remakes. Do you think that's kind of this is a miss for Microsoft?
Well, I think Microsoft has kind of had these ebb and flows where, like, Phil came out initially and was like, no, we're not doing exclusive deals. And, what I mean? We want to make sure that all gamers can play all games and yada, yada, yada. And then a little while later, he was like, yo, I think we're going to do some exclusive deals. And then
I think you're going to buy a whole publisher.
Yeah, what I mean?
Yes.
And then they get on this buying spree and start buying up everybody, and they buy Bethesda. So now it's like, all that stuff you said before, that's off the table. So it's like, okay, I think they kind of wised up after they saw some of the stuff that, Sony was doing with Spider-Man. I think they probably looked at that kind of side eye, like, yo, what the hell? Spider-Man had been coming everywhere prior to, the latest Spider-Man game. And for Sony to kind of get that and, sell over 20 million copies and, really push the PS4 at that point, I think they kind of looked at that a little side eye and, kind of, got back to the camp, devised a plan. They're like, okay, we got to fight fire with fire. And I think, going forward, I think we will see, some exclusive stuff and fanboys are going to be mad on the other side. But, this is probably definitely a miss just because it's been so synonymous with Xbox. If they could have got this, this would have been huge for Xbox. So many people been running around in the streets, with the green flags and green draws on, going crazy. So, for Sony to have it, it's a one-up for Sony.
Yeah, that's a great point, B. I mean, I agree with that, man. I don't know if Slobo or Forte, if you're awake, if you guys want to chime in, what are your thoughts?
No, go ahead, Forte.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, he wanted to see if you were sleeping. I saw you did that, Darth Revan.
I know.
Yeah, that was a test. That's all. Go ahead.
Well, but he's not sleeping. Go ahead, Forte. Speak.
No, go ahead, Slomo. I'm still trying to catch up with my 40 winks. I've been away for 1,000 years, and got to get some rest. It's not enough of it. I need another 1,000.
I take it that you were not paying attention, and therefore you want me to go so I can speak on what the topic is and help you.
I know what the topic is. Go ahead.
So what's the topic?
Go ahead. He was asking about. He was just asking about KOTOR. I know what the question was.
Preview DPS tomorrow night.
No, Forte. What specifically about KOTOR are we talking about?
Listen, go ahead, Slomo. Stop trying to be a baby.
I'm not. I'm just asking you a very direct question. If you were paying attention, then this wouldn't even be a problem,
I'm just asking
right?
you to go ahead, Slomo. That's it. Just go ahead.
Enrique, you want to help him out, Enrique.
Forte, why don't you
reiterate what we're talking about for him?
Go ahead, Slomo.
Forte, what are your thoughts on KOTOR, man?
No, Slow-mo. Go ahead, Slow-mo.
Oh my goodness! All right, let's go ahead, Darth Revan.
KOTOR is, and I mean, I've already kind of talked about this before Forte got on, but it's one of the best RPGs ever. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's the one game that introduced me to BioWare and had me become a BioWare fan. I think it's probably one of the most well-written stories in the Star Wars lore in the Star Wars universe. And I think it was able to do that because they made the very smart decision to go thousands of years in the past and get away from the trilogy, the pre-sequels, and all that other stuff. Like when you write in that region, you're kind of writing around work that other people have already done. So it's never a very centered and overall powerful story arc, because sometimes you have to write things that you don't quite feel make sense, and sometimes they don't, because some of the other writing, by George Lucas is absolute garbage. We ain't gonna get into that, but they went thousands of years in the past to show a story about the old Republic, how the Republic used to be before it was all about councils and stuff and all that other crap, about how the jet went back when the Force was stronger, and the people with the Force could do things that you just didn't see in the original trilogy. And you got the Mandalorians back then, when the Mandalorians were essentially bullies and scaring the entire Outer Rim with their capability to go around and just basically lay waste to full-on planets. They're very extremely warlike people, and so to see all that and to see like kind of the story they built and created with these characters that was just like really well thought out and not one-dimensional at all. It's awesome, and I'm great. I'm happy to see it come back. It's unfortunate that people on Xbox aren't going to be able to play this at launch, but this is what I'm gonna tell you what I've told other people when it's when it came to Starfield. If you want to play the game, buy a PlayStation. Maybe they'll be plentiful in stores when this game comes out. Buy a PlayStation, enjoy the game. Don't wait for games. Don't ever wait for games. If it's a game you want to play, and you want to play it so much that you're rather create a petition out here to try to get something that has already been set in stone by contracts reversed, then look, maybe you need to just put some money aside, get yourself $500, get yourself a PlayStation 5, or
just upgrade and start buying a PC now.
Oh yeah, like build a PC.
You got 2
You
years.
can actually, the pricing of building a PC is actually pretty much the way it's been prior to the pandemic, except for the GPUs. The GPUs are ridiculous at this point. You could build an entire PC and the GPU would still cost more than everything else that you built. That said, by the time this game comes out, you could have a pretty nice PC all built together. So look, you have options. But waiting until this game shows up on Xbox, it seems like a very poor option, if you ask me. All that said, I think it's the only real L here is for Xbox in general. I think that they dropped the ball with this one. This is a game that was synonymous with original Xbox. It was synonymous with the best games that the original Xbox came out with. And now it's going to be synonymous with PlayStation. And I think if you would have been able to show this at E3, that you were bringing this back, the kind of praise they would have got from the Xbox community for bringing this back on Xbox would have been epic. But you dropped the ball and your competition picked it up. And that's on you.
Yeah. And I think not having that E3, that crowd reaction, I can only imagine what that pop would have been, like to see that those are like one of those wow moments that PlayStation.
Well, I'm not talking about like in a like an audience kind of deal, because they didn't even do that with their Bethesda Xbox E3 presentation showcase, which was still good. It was a good showcase. I'm not knocking the showcase at all. What I'm saying is that specifically here, this is akin to a second party exclusive that has only been on PlayStation for the most part, has never touched Xbox, being a timed exclusive for Xbox in the future. This is like Until Dawn 2 is timed exclusive to, even though that kind of pales in comparison, but like Until Dawn 2 timed exclusive for Xbox Series X and S. Like that game, the original game was the PlayStation 4. Like it's jaw-dropping to me that they were able to pull it off, but smart move on Sony's side.
Until Dawn would have been a different story, though. I think a lot of people.
I'm trying to think of an exclusive that's not necessarily like owned by PlayStation and wasn't done by a first party.
Solid.
But Metal Gear has been on it's been multi-plat before. Oh, you mean the very first one?
The first one, yes.
Okay, yeah, Metal Gear Solid there. Like if that would turn out to be a timed exclusive for Xbox, yeah, that would be on the same level as this. And so, yeah.
If I could chime in with this one question, and this is the fanboy thought that comes in my head. So admittedly, it's a fanboy thing. Irrational, I have no answer for it, and there's probably a rational one somewhere that someone much smarter can let me in on. Why didn't they lock this down? Why don't, like, a lot of Xbox people, it's very funny when people are like, why is the PlayStation talking? Why is the PlayStation talking? Even myself, why is the PlayStation talking? Very aggravating. We see Wolverine and we forget about it. We're like, oh my God, Wolverine, holy shit, Spider-Man,
right?
We forget because we're in the moment. Why doesn't Xbox have that? Like, it comes down to a simple fact, and it really puts the whole fanboy arguments, just puts them away. When you take a look at PlayStation, it just tracks better SEO wise, tracks better sales wise. It outsells the Xbox almost 2-1. It has a units sales. Every time you see a game out, chances are best selling systems going to be on PlayStation. I think, what is it, like Tales of Arise, 80% of those consoles, or 80% was like PlayStation.
I think it was more than that.
More than that, probably. It's also a JRPG, so that's inflated. But nonetheless, games sell on there, right? Xbox's big push is Game Pass. So if I'm going up to a Marvel and go, hey, I want X character for Y game, they're going to be, what is our return? And then you have to show them this map about how you're going to revenue share with this thing called Game Pass. You're going to have to throw out a boatload of money to really convince a company like Disney to forego on day one sales, because they still matter, because they're still important, and no other YouTuber or podcaster is going to convince anybody differently. That's how companies roll. That's why most of the times when you see a game hit Game Pass, it's 2, 3, 6 months after the tail's gone and most of the casuals already bought said game. The only big AAA games that you see land on Game Pass is Outriders and what we're going to see from Back 4 Blood, both of which are new IP and unproven properties. So if I'm going up to a Lucasfilm going, I want to make a Star Wars game, and they're going to be like, okay, cool. Well, you need to make sure whatever money could have been lost on this IP is recouped by this Game Pass thing. Or, for a better example, if anybody's in the chat yelling at me, well, Joe, what about, Indiana Jones? That deal done before the Xbox Bethesda acquisition. Now, that's also something that a whole bunch of lawyers are going to argue about, and then us regurgitate it. So, for me, I really am taking a look at those deals, those big marketing deals that you see out of what PlayStation's doing with those second party deals. And yeah, I am asking myself, why isn't Xbox getting a superhero? Because it seems like if you want to play superhero, it's on PlayStation.
Yeah, Mr. Babbitt, that's a great point, man. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, please do. And anybody that could say differently, by the way.
Yeah,
as well,
I was actually thinking I had that same thought the other day when I was thinking about why haven't they got like an MCU character at the level of Spider-Man or Wolverine. I remember a lot of Xbox fans saying, "Oh, we got to get Wolverine, right?" And I wonder how much. And I thought this too, like what you're saying. I wonder how much of the Game Pass factor comes in. And again, this isn't like, we're not saying Game Pass is bad, but there is a. You're muted, Mr. Babbitt.
No, it's great, and it's the best deal in gaming. And anybody that tells you differently is a dumb idiot. Don't take their words.
Yeah. So, but what we are saying is that perhaps there's a business argument here as to why maybe something like Game Pass might not be favorable to maybe a publisher or developer, because they can look at what you just described, Mr. Babbitt, that track record or how these games could potentially track in terms of sales, versus maybe is Microsoft willing to drop a tremendous bag of money up front in hopes that they'll get subscriptions out of that? Maybe not. And then does the publisher want to? Do they feel like they're going to get incentivized to put their game in Game Pass, where it's going to maybe make up for those missed sales? Like those are potentially real conversations that might be happening and could be a reason to what you just mentioned why maybe a KOTOR didn't happen, right? I think that's a fair question to ask. Again, not a slight against Game Pass, but could be something that's happening behind the scenes. And Game Pass could potentially raise other issues too. We're seeing with People Can Fly and Square Enix now, and I call it the Scarlett Johansson effect, where Scarlett Johansson is now suing Disney.
Yeah,
because so
as she should.
As she should. Yeah,
as she should. Absolutely. So again, so that's a great point. With what you just mentioned about KOTOR. So yeah, I agree with it. You also said to Slow-Mo that this is a miss for Microsoft. And I don't know, Forte, if you're awake now, if you want to chime in before we move on to
the slander. This poor guy.
The other
working 40 hours, putting food on the table.
I don't listen to these people.
Yeah, good.
Clearly you don't. We heard you snoring.
Yep, exactly, I guess.
Yeah. So let me grab this super chat here from Neo Wise with the $5 Canadian. Says there was an Easter egg in the video about Final Fantasy 16 at the train station about the name of the world it takes place in, and it said 616. Thank you for that super chat there.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah. I think, do we miss any other super chats? I want to make sure we didn't miss anything here. I think that's it. Okay. All right. So we talked about KOTOR. And like you said, Mr. Babbitt, there was a period in that show. It was kind of like, I thought they could have probably rotated the games a little bit better, in my opinion, as opposed to kind of just KOTOR and Project E, by the way, I thought looked really good. That game has my interest. Yeah. Like I wasn't looking at her buttocks or the camera angles per se of her rear end, but I did find.
No, you can say you were. You don't.
No, actually, come on.
No,
like actually, it's funny.
You were looking. You were going.
No, actually, I really did. It really didn't register with me until Alex from Digital Foundry said something, and then Slum was like, "Oh yeah, you could totally see it." I'm like, and I went back and looked at it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can see it now." But I thought
I literally watched that in 4K because like in the first real talk, everybody, that show didn't resonate with me much, and I didn't think it was great. But rewatching everything in 4K, and as days have gone on, I've grown more and more towards it. Eve looked really great. I recognized the weird boob physics. Rewatching it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's unneeded, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I did think it was a terribly big deal, but
I was like, oh jeez.
but I thought Project Eve, I thought Project Eve looked really good, but I think the biggest thing.
Also, I don't know. I don't know of the person that had the criticism. I just know the internet's reaction to that man's reaction. It's like, y'all settle down. So
who did that? Was it Alex or something?
It was Alex from Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
He was pretty like he wasn't like over the top in his criticism per se. Like I thought it was it was straightforward. It wasn't like, oh my god, these guys are terrible. He was just kind of
Man has never been to a strip club before, I guess.
Oh wow.
See, I think once they hit us with the Project Eve, if they would have kept us in that same lane for like another 3 or 4 games and just show us like more Chinese and like Japanese and Korean games, like I would have appreciated that more than the other shit.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Oh man.
Yeah, I would have too, B-Buddy.
Seeing Deathloop for the 16th time didn't do it for you, huh?
No, I didn't know why.
Even knowing the game is it's a perfect 10 by IGN standards.
Yeah, that's nice. But they could have just showed us that trailer that they showed like the day before or like 2 days before of like that new looter shooter or whatever.
Not at all.
Like
we know the game's coming out.
Yeah,
I thought it's almost like they trolled us, Mr. Babbitt. Like they saw the people on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna throw it in there to troll these assholes." Because
it's just like toss us 30 seconds. Yeah,
I think it's because they knew the previews of the game, like they knew how high it was rated, So they went ahead and threw that in there again, just because like it's exclusive for PlayStation. You know what
Real
I mean?
talk,
So,
I think it all comes down to a contract. They're like, okay, so we're honoring this to the bitter end.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
again,
of
it's not
course.
because they're nice. It's because they don't want to get sued. And then, and also, they're being amicable. And,
I mean,
but yeah, just 30
yeah,
seconds.
I mean, I think all of them was amicable in this situation when it came to that.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it would have cost Xbox to actually pull that if they actually really did.
Oh, it would have been a really bad look.
It would have been a bad look, but I wonder how much it would. I wonder how much that price was.
It may have been worth it. Like if you think about how much it would have cost to probably, you would have to make good with Sony, whatever Sony paid to get exclusive, and probably then some.
Yeah,
in order to kind of like reverse that.
No, you take a look at any of your partners that you're working with, or any people that you want to go into.
Yeah, but
work
it's different when you own, like, you actually own that property at that point,
right? But even then, you're like, as a business owner to business owner, you're like, that would turn me off as someone who's like, okay, you're that ruthless. Oof, it's not a good look. Also, we misunderstand how much PlayStation and Xbox talk to each other. They talk to each other a lot.
I agree with that.
They do a lot of business deals together. Especially with the middleware kind of stuff, the software that Microsoft develops that isn't directly developing games, but software that all developers use to develop games, like Visual Studio, Havoc Engine, that kind of stuff. All that said, like if the shoe was on the other foot,
Sony would have pulled this thing. So
Sony would have. We know Sony would have pulled this. Like they would have been like, yeah, it ain't going to you no more. Yeah. It's ours now.
All of a sudden, that Xbox logo would have been off that.
I can't see it going work. Like the only people I see saying, we're going to honor all contracts.
Think about MLB.
It's all good, baby.
Think about MLB.
Sony never wanted to put MLB on there. They got strong.
No, Sony, they weren't publishing the game. Sony didn't publish that.
When you look at MLB, when you tune into an MLB show, right? Like I was watching the Yankees against my fucking will. They're like, and you could buy MLB The Show on Xbox, Xbox One, and the Xbox Game Pass. Like, he fucking said that. Now, like, contracts are contracts, and you got to work with them, begrudgingly or not. So,
I mean, you ain't got no contract when it comes to a licensed IP though. When you allow them to do the publishing for other platform.
Well, you let them. Well,
the only reason that happened was a loophole. Let's be for real.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
Phil Spencer found a loophole, jumped through it, did double dutch and everything with it.
Yeah, PlayStation published, for lack of better, Deathloop. Like, you don't see Microsoft on it. You don't see Xbox Studios. You see PlayStation, Bethesda, Arcane. So it's somewhat similar. They're just honoring a contract, waiting for it to die out, right? Yeah. And then carry on. You don't need any ugliness between companies or ugliness between any,
so we think it's, so you believe if this shoe was on the other foot, it would have worked the same way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. I don't name name a company that's done that, where they've announced a product on a thing and then
we're the ones that said well everybody on this panel believes if PlayStation would have bought Bethesda and the shoe was on the other foot, that the question of any of these games being exclusive anywhere else would have been answered 2 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
We already would have knew.
Yeah.
So they can be just as ruthless as everybody else.
We knew that.
If PlayStation would have bought Minecraft and they would have bought Mojang, you think Minecraft would still be on Xbox?
Yes, because that's a platform.
But it's a platform now. But at that point, it wasn't. It was a platform, but it's not. It's bigger now. Microsoft made the decision to leave it there.
They bought that thing for a Star Wars. It was
it was big then.
It was $2 billion. The $2.2 billion. It was huge.
What I would say to that, the reason why we know it would be a PlayStation exclusive is because you know what PlayStation is about. It's about selling you the box. The reason why it's so questionable for Xbox is because it's literally pulling most of the content away from. Sorry, it's pulling content away from the largest platform or console platform, while at the same exact time pushing a narrative of gaming everywhere. It's ambiguous. The thing is, Game Pass, right? It wasn't about selling boxes. That's what, you go on to any show, Rewind, a year or two ago, they're saying, yeah, no, this is about selling you Game Pass. It's not selling you a box. And yeah, that's why it's unsure, because Microsoft is a different beast than PlayStation. Again, you know what Xbox is about. It's about selling you on the platform. The platform is Game Pass. That's why you could play Xbox anywhere. That's why it was in question, right? And it's also, again, most players, most casuals are on PlayStation. So we're like, we're cautiously optimistic when we really should have been pessimistic.
Yeah, I want to go real quick, jump in. I want to go to the other big announcement, which was, I thought, Spider-Man 2, right? That was big. Spider-Man 2, we finally saw Venom. We heard Kraven the Hunter, his voice, but we saw Venom, and that was huge. And I was like, oh my God, this is great, right? Awesome. And then they hit us with Wolverine. And I was blown away. Like, Wolverine is one of my favorite Marvel characters. Like, I remember like reading comics when I was young, and all of us were like, who's your favorite? Who's the favorite, guy that, is always Wolverine, because he's got the claws, and he can't die, and blah blah blah, and he's badass, and he was, but when I know it. Well, okay. Earlier in the show, we said that if you're not following B Money, you need to follow him. We were talking before the night before the show. We did BRAP. We're giving our predictions. B Money said another Marvel exclusive or something. I don't want to. Is that exactly what you said, B Money? I don't remember.
Well, I referenced 2 games, and both games were there. Well, two brands, and both brands were there. Which was the first thing I said was Star Wars. I'm like, what if it was a Star Wars game? And of course, everybody just rolled past that. And then I said, what if it was X-Men? And those are 2 brands I bought up, and both brands were there.
Yeah, and Wolverine is part of the X-Men, and they showed that game, and when they went to that trailer, and I looked, and it was the bar scene, right? And you see the guys laying on the ground. I was like, this is fucking Wolverine. There's no one else. A bar, bodies everywhere, and then you see the guy sitting at the bar, and I'm like, my eyes are like popping out, and I'm hyped, and I am like, oh my God, it's Wolverine. Then you see the forearm, the hair on his arm, and the drink in his hand, the flannel shirt, and I'm like, hell yeah. And then you see the claws come out. There's also some Easter eggs there. It looks like there's reference to the world that Spider-Man takes place in. What is it? 1048, I think, is the number. That's there. The name of the bar that Logan frequents in the comics is there. I forget the name of the bar now. It's escaping me. And then there's a Hulk reference. The Hulk issue 181, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the first time Wolverine was in that comic.
Yeah, first time Wolverine was in the Hulk. So there's Easter eggs, and then there's Wolverine, and then the claws come out, the adamantium claws come out, and I'm like, hell yeah, Insomniac, Marvel. To me, when I'm seeing this, I am like, oh my level of excitement is going through the roof, because this is one of my favorite characters. And to what you said earlier, Mr. Badbit, about these big brands, these Star Wars stands, these Marvel stands. We know we know Star Wars is continuing on the Disney Plus channel. That they're still doing the. If you guys have watched the, I forget what is the Bad. What is it? The
Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch, which I think is great. That's out. We know there's going to be an Obi-Wan series coming out.
They just announced another. What was it? Star Wars. Not universe. What was it?
It's Star
Visions.
Wars.
Visions.
Visions, yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Visions.
And then they show this, and Mr. Babbitt, to your point about the Star Wars stands, the MCU stands, Marvel's on their phase 4, whatever it is, they're putting more stuff in Disney Plus. This is the perfect storm, right? You have the PlayStation brand, and the PlayStation brand now is going to be synonymous with what other pop culture phenomena that are out there right now that have a strong fan base that may be hungry for gaming experiences that are part of the thing that they love, right? Star Wars. I think you said, Mr. Babbitt, you like your brother, they'll probably go out and buy a PlayStation 5 to play KOTOR, right? You got to imagine, you look at the Spider-Man numbers. What did we?
He bought it to play Spider-Man.
What?
I said he bought it to play Spider-Man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Babbitt's brother bought a PlayStation 5 to play Spider-Man. I know other people that did the same thing. I know that's anecdotal, but you got to imagine that there's other people, considering how well that game sold too. I mean, that game did I think last time they reported 20 million. I mean, that's a lot for a console exclusive. What they're doing for me as a gamer, for me who's a fan of all things pop culture, fan of Marvel, Star Wars, this is huge. This is huge, and I'm excited to see what Insomniac is going to do, given their pedigree with Wolverine. I think this is big for Sony, for the PlayStation brand to have this. It's huge. It's huge. Sony is doing. I don't know how to describe it. They're just. I don't know. They are just taking it to another level. I feel like, in terms of the type of content they're bringing. And how they're, at least for me, getting me excited as a gamer to get these things that I love that tie into another thing that I love and playing video games. And it's just amazing. It's just great. I'm really, really excited about this, if you can't tell. Mr. Babbitt, I want to go to you.
Yeah.
Wolverine, thoughts? We excited? What do you think, man?
That's when I woke up.
Like Forte.
Honest to God, like, if you, like, real talk, if you told me, I'm going to be real as rain with you guys, what's the better show? Like, if we're doing the versus thing, Xbox. Who showed you a better roadmap? Xbox. Who showed me the games that I really give a shit about, though? PlayStation. So, like, for me, I don't think the show was great. Again, I think it's a 7. Like, I think it's fine. It's a fine showcase. Wolverine, though, I'm right there with you, BRAP. I am all on board for Wolverine. My reaction is there on Twitter as well. And I even said it, like, after we saw Wolverine, I'm like, all right, finally, now we're cooking with gas. Now that's how you, because literally moments ago, I was just like moments before that Wolverine reveal, I was like, what are we doing? What are we honestly doing? And then I saw Wolverine. I was like, okay, we're doing good stuff. It's when PlayStation shows its first party where we actually wake up. So that Wolverine reveal is awesome. I want to know where they take this game. They've already teased that it's going to be a mature title because it's Wolverine. He's going to be slashing people and getting ripped apart. So I'm on board. This looks awesome. And they're in another great place where, you know, Hugh's out for the time being, and they get to make Wolverine and not have it be put against an actor that is portraying Wolverine. So they kind of get their own spin on it. So
that's a great point. Yeah,
I'm very excited for this, man. I think it's going to be hopefully something really special. So, and again, and here's the thing. We know nothing how that game's going to act, feel, play. We're hyped because Insomniac has not missed, right? We're literally going off of brand recognition. Brands are important. Names are important. Logos are important. What we saw there gives us a not even glimpse at what this game's going to be. And yeah, awesome.
Yeah, no, that's well said. I mean, Insomniac just, yeah, I mean, they and Darth Revan had said this on this podcast numerous occasions. They are Sony's best pickup, best acquisition, and dirt cheap, by the way. I should say dirt cheap, But I mean, for $250 million, I mean, holy shit.
They got their money's worth, man.
They got their money's worth. Yeah.
I mean, comparatively speaking, that is dirt cheap because they made more money off of the profits they got off of Spider-Man 2018 than what they spent in acquiring them. So it's essentially like it
was a wash.
It was a wash. It was like, make this game for us. Yep. We're gonna take a cut of what we made to pay you to be a part of us now. I mean, it's free money. It's free money at that point. They didn't even spend any of their actual, like, you know, they hadn't have to go into the vault and actually do it. And then look at what they're continuing to do. They come out with 3 games before their other studios come out with 1. And none of these are like when you would think about someone delivering on a high quantity of games, people automatically think of low quality. Or you're just doing something that's easy, worth it to, and we always equate it taking a long time with value, but that doesn't always work, or quality, but that doesn't always work in video games because Cyberpunk 2077 took 6 years. There are plenty of games that take years and years and years to come out. Anthem took 6 years. There are games that have been in development for years and don't come out and to be high quality games. There's some games that only take 3 years and they're great. So it's about the process of that studio, and what they have is a superior culture that is able to deliver games with no crunch. I love saying that for the people who think crunch is the only way
they actually don't
make high quality games. Yeah. They don't crunch and they still give you high quality content. Sure, is it not as critically acclaimed as a Naughty Dog game or a Sony Santa Monica game? No, they have never hit that level. They've never had a game actually be a average 90 on Metacritic. But you can't deny that when your games are hitting at 85, 88 in that range, and you're dropping them on like almost seems like every 15 to 16 months, that's a value that can't be replicated anywhere else.
And this is not new for Insomniac. This is what they did in the PS3 generation as well, with Resistance and Ratchet and Clank. They continue to pump out games every 18 months, back to back. So this isn't anything new. This is what they do. This is what they're built for. This is why they have the Insomniac name. They pump out great games at a high clip.
Yeah, that's a great point. Go ahead, Dark.
And that's the thing. Like, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, this is a great deal for Sony." No, this is a great deal for both. This is a great deal for them because now they don't have to worry about where our budget's coming from. They don't have to worry about, you know, if they're going to be able to make a game that they want to make. And that's the beauty of them being owned by PlayStation. We know that PlayStation is known for allowing their companies to make pretty much anything that they want to make, as long as it's within the realm of you know, of like basically like good, you know, if it's in the realm of being a good game. I mean, we've seen it with Days Gone, where Days Gone 2 isn't necessarily being made right now, but it doesn't mean that Days Gone 2 won't be made. It's just that we're not seeing it right now because they probably had to go back. Sony was like, you guys need to go back and work on this script a little bit more, you know. And that's the thing. When you get bought out by a different company, you have to you have to make the company happy, because if not, they'll just sell you off, or, you know, just disband you. And I don't see them doing that with any other studios as of late, like Sony Bend and Insomniac. I don't see them doing that. But to speak on the whole Wolverine thing, man, I as soon as I saw this game, I knew. I was like, okay, yep, I'm done. Like I was like after the show, I was like, Xbox who's that over there? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. They got games too, but I'm gonna be playing Spider-Man and Wolverine because honestly, Insomniac is probably one of my favorite companies of all time. Like I love Insomniac. They made Sunset Overdrive, which was exclusive for Xbox. And then they made Resistance, and then they made Ratchet and Clank, and they're just on another level to me in terms of quality of games. And then they made my favorite game of all time, which was Spider-Man 2018. And damn, like I love that game so much. Like there's I'm still kicking myself in the ass right now because I didn't get the gold edition of Miles Morales, and I should have. So I'm still a little upset about that. I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't do it, because I guess I was thinking, oh well, they'll probably come out with a um a they'll probably come out with it for like $20 sometime. I mean, there's still a realm of possibility that they'll do that, but it's just man, because I kind of do want to play the. I mean, I can play Spider-Man on my PS5, but I want to play that version of Spider-Man on my PS5. Because it does look different, and the character model is different and things like that. So I definitely do want to play it. I don't know when that'll happen, but we'll see. But yeah, just seeing Wolverine, like it was what I think it was. Well, wasn't it Spider-Man first, right? Did they show Spider-Man first, or did they show?
I think they show Wolverine first, actually.
Okay,
Wolverine,
so they show Wolverine first, right? And I was like, damn, awesome, hell yeah. Insomniac is doing it. I know their pedigree. I know where they come from. I know that they're gonna make a good game. It may not be the best game in the world, but it's definitely gonna be a good game, and I definitely gonna be able to play it and have fun with it.
Yeah.
It'll be the best Wolverine game you've played.
Right, exactly. And and then they showed Spider-Man too, and I was all like, oh shit, dude. like I was just like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. like you don't need to show me anymore. And that's the reason why I give the conference a 9 out of 10, just because of the pedigree of I know what Insomniac can do. And that's really that's just me being. I'll say it right now. I'm biased towards Insomniac. I am. You talk shit about Insomniac, I'm gonna come for you. But it's just
You are crazy, Artemis.
Am I?
Yes, you're crazy, man.
I guess.
Even
I'm
your
crazy.
laugh.
But I was absolutely hyped for the show. I mean, there was things about the show that I was like, yeah, that whole middle part, like that was trash. Like they shouldn't even showed anything like right there, like Rainbow Six Extinction and Deathloop, and I was like, we've already seen enough of these games. Like we don't need to see more, especially of Deathloop and Rainbow Six. Like we don't need to see more of that shit.
Yeah,
And then, but I do agree with. I will say the beginning was really good and the ending was really good, and it seems like that's how they kind of go with their shows. Like if you notice, like with their show, like they kind of do their timed exclusives first, and then they do their third party games that are coming, and then they do their exclusives at the end. If you notice the show, like if you ever go back and watch the other shows, they've kind of done that in the past as well. So it's just, yeah, this time around they definitely kind of dropped the ball on some of that stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point there, Dr. Rodimus. I do want to, before you wrap up the show, I just want to get everyone else's thought on the whole X-Men or Wolverine thing. If anyone else wants to chime in about that before you wrap up.
When after I started doing like the trailer breakdown and we started to look at the like the smaller Easter eggs and stuff.
Yep.
Like it just really got me thinking, like Sony could really do something with the characters that they have signed now, especially if like Hulk does show up like in the game. We know Days Gone 2 isn't coming, but what if Ben was working on the Ghost Rider game?
Oof,
that'd be fucking cool, actually.
That would be cool if Ben was working a Ghost Rider.
And what if somewhere down the line, before the Fantastic Four comes out, the new Fantastic Four is released with Wolverine, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Hulk?
I feel like B Money had some insight on this shit, man. I swear, like
He always does. He always does.
He does.
He always phrases things like he don't know what's going on.
He
Like-
says,
like-
"What
like
if?"
he says, "Hey, what if?
what if?
What if Sony has exclusive rights to a Wolverine game?" Man, B Money, whatever, man. You tripping? Yeah, you probably right. And then it shows hey, what if PlayStation Experience is coming back this year? Just a thought. Then next thing we start seeing rumors PlayStation Experience is coming back this year. We on to you, B.
Hey man, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, see, he always says that. I don't know nothing. I just get it right.
Dude. I don't know anything. I don't know what you guys talking about.
I'm just in the boardroom. I just
Yeah.
heard what they said.
Yeah, I just I was there. I was there when they pitched Fantastic Four, and yeah. So B, you're saying it'd be cool if Ben did a Ghost Rider, someone else did Fantastic Four. Any other games you think might happen?
I mean, that's all I'll say for now. But
Oh my God,
I will say
This guy.
that people who play on PlayStation who are excited for big games, like they're just getting started. Next year in 2023 is going to be crazy for PlayStation.
Okay, B. Okay. I see what you're putting out, and I agree with you because I've heard that they are really putting the pedal to the floor, man.
Yes.
Their answer to Game Pass is what you just described.
Yes.
And they are really and when Jim Ryan said we're gonna let the games do the talking, that's not marketing talk, guys. Like oh man, I wish I could. Yeah, look, there is more stuff coming.
That is 100% marketing talk. He knows exactly why you're coming to PlayStation.
But okay, it is. But they're also going to do that though. Like that's gonna they're gonna blow people's minds away.
It's not like hey guys, tomorrow they would be like, hey guys, listen, we did really good on this whole PlayStation games thing. We're gonna do VCRs. We're bringing them back. Of course, we expect. Listen, we don't need the rumor train or insider information to know what PlayStation exclusives mean to people, and that is we expect The Last of Us, we expect a Ghost of Tsushima, we expect a Horizon, we expect a God of War. We forget kill strains, we forget the Order 1886, because when the highs are super high, we forget the low lows that are Destruction All Stars, right? So
That's true,
that is the reality. Of course, Jim Ryan's going to say we're going to let the games do the talking, but how many of those games that are actually we saw today, how many of those games are actually in the grand scheme of things going to actually hit? Like, what are we really thinking of Forspoken? Right? What are we really thinking of? Even Ghostwire, the deals that they've made. Not everyone's going to be gold, but we're excited.
No, not everyone's going to hit, but I do think they're still. I do think though, and you're right. Not every game's going to hit, but I think there's going to be a lot that do hit. I think there's going to be.
It also does create value for that platform because it differentiates that platform from its competition. So, maybe Forspoken doesn't turn out to be great. I mean, it is being made from a spinoff of the same Final Fantasy team that made Final Fantasy 15. I mean, that should scare some people.
Final Fantasy 15 did sell well though.
It did, but as a game, it's a trash Final Fantasy game. So it sold well because it's Final Fantasy, I think. But as far as the game itself, it was definitely some mistakes made. I think now having covered Luminous Studios for a little while, covering their Luminous engine and listening to some of their leadership talk, there is some hope there that Forspoken is going to be a drastic difference based off of them acknowledging a lot of the mistakes and missteps they had previously. But then some of the leadership that was there that said all that left. So it's kind of like, oh boy. Like, why'd you leave? So there's some things that can make you say, all right, well, maybe this won't hit, right? But it's still a timed exclusive for PlayStation. So if it does hit or if it doesn't, where's the only place you're going to play at? PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're not doing full on exclusives, because there's no purpose in spending money, additional money, to get a full-on exclusive, timed exclusive the way they did Final Fantasy VII Remake, when they already know that PC market is so diverse. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of money to keep it off of there, when that's not, like, there's not enough crossover between the different kinds of fans and demographics to make it like where if it's being bought on PC, that means it wasn't being bought on your platform. No, it's so drastically different that's not going to be a problem for you, because there's a lot of people on PC that just have a PC that don't have a console, and we see that kind of playing out with how their older PlayStation games, exclusive first-party games, have been successful on PC launching. So all that said, they're concerned with making sure that people see the difference between them and Xbox, and they'll continue to lock down these timed console exclusives until I think Xbox starts to respond in kind. And so I know there's some people that don't like to see this, because it seems like third-party games are now becoming kind of like first-party games, but this is what competition breeds, and it's just a reality of business.
And when you can't go out and spend $7 billion to buy a publisher, you got to play the game a different way.
Yep,
and that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a great point, B Money, and we heard this. Like Imran Khan actually wrote an article about this, where somebody was being very aggressive with locking up like third-party content as exclusive content. I want to get this.
Hear any feedback? I hear feedback.
I hear like a fan.
Oh, that could be me. My apologies, boys.
Oh, no worries, Mr. Rabbit. So you got a super chat from Neo Wise. We'll grab the super chat before we wrap the show here. Neo Wise with the $2 Canadian super chat says, "Forspoken is written by Amy Hennig and Gary Whitta."
Yep, yes, it sure is.
Yep.
Now, some people may say Amy Hennig, it might not be the best. The best based off, if you read like stuff like Blood, Sweat, and Pixels that talks about her details in the development of Uncharted 4, and how some of her ideas did not go over well with some of the other like Neil Druckmann, and they rewrote a lot of things and she left. Some people may feel like Amy isn't like the best on the writing front, but I think she's definitely better than most. But Gary Whitta has done so much stuff. Like he's worked on, I think, let's see here. Gary Whitta worked on Rogue One. He co-wrote that. Well, he wrote one of the revisions to it. He wrote Star Wars Rebels, which I thought was great. Star Wars Rebels is actually awesome. He's done a lot of work in a lot of different areas. I think he also, I can't remember. Oh, he wrote the Book of Eli, I think. So yeah, like the guy's got a serious pedigree, and I think he probably would be. Hopefully, I don't know if his credits to this is similar to like George R.R. Martin with Elden Ring, where he really just wrote the lore and he didn't actually like isn't doing the bulk of the dialogue. I don't know if that's what Gary Whitta is doing, but his influence in it should actually be beneficial. Hopefully, he's writing a good portion of it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Ritta also wrote, I think you mentioned this, Rogue One.
Yeah, he did. Rogue One went through a lot of revisions, but he wrote one of the later revisions of it. So a lot of what he wrote is still in there. So he's good.
Yeah. So, well, look, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat that came out and hung out with us this evening. Really appreciate each and every one of you coming out and, just hanging out with us and listening to us ramble on about video games. Really appreciate the super chats and the support. Please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We are over 3,000 subs. And look, couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. And really Really appreciate the support. So thank you so much. And we wouldn't have hit this without B Money and Eric Jackson and Mr. Snorefest and Darth Revan. So but I want to
Lord Snore.
Lord Snore. Your snoring is strong with the dark side.
Oh,
He is not happy with any of us.
He's not talking.
He's having nightmares as we speak about it.
Come here, young Snore. Embrace the dark side of the Force.
Embrace the deviated septum.
Oh my God! Strong deviated septum is.
Oh,
Deviated your septum is. Let me stop.
Deviated your septum is.
How you guys are gonna be friends after the show?
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Mr. Badbit. Mr. Babbitt, always a pleasure having you on, man.
Of course.
Keep up the great work, the Trophy Room podcast, man.
Thanks,
Seriously,
man.
Keep it up. But let everyone know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me over at the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. I'm actually editing the show as we speak, and it's a real son of a gun because the OBS did not record the video right, and that is messing up the audio. So I'm fixing it as we speak. It's going to be a late night and an early morning, and I hate that already. So you can find the Trophy Room, a PlayStation show over on Apple Podcasts. We're doing a 5-star review giveaway. Rate the show 5 stars. You get a chance to win Kina, a Bridge of Spirits. You can follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Google Play. And we're also on YouTube at the Trophy Room show over there. This week, we're going to be talking about my thoughts on Deathloop. I'm going to be talking, what else are we talking about? Oh yeah, PlayStation 5 upgrade. We're going to be talking about the Star Wars. I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, the Knights of the Old Republic and all that stuff. So go check out the Trophy Room there at PS Trophy Room on Twitter, at Mr. Babbitt. You know where to find me. I'm a broken record. You know, I've been here too much.
No doubt, man. And we also got my man live from Hollywood, California, Dark Optimus, man. Always a pleasure, man, having you on, sir. Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. You guys can find me on Twitter, Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox and PlayStation at the same name, mostly on PlayStation because that's where I live. And then you guys can find me on the next podcast every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Or no, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's
yeah,
yep.
man. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well,
And,
again, man,
and I'll be on Crossfire this week. So you have 2 doses of me, BRAP.
Nice, man. Well, I may or may not be on that show because I have like some school event, something for my kids' school. So it really depends on what time I'm going to get back home. So if I
he changed his name, Lord Snorlax.
Lord Snorlax. So, but Optimus, always a pleasure, man. On that note, we got my man Lord Snorlax. Lord Snorlax. Let everyone know where they can find you, good sir.
You can find me in Gaming Forte everywhere. I think YouTube and Twitter and Xbox Live and PlayStation. Also before we, oh wait, I'm back up. Also, Gaming Forte and Slow Mo Backslap will be, or Lord Revan or Darth Revan or whatever his name is. You can catch us on DPS Podcast tomorrow at I believe 9 p.m. Eastern. It depends. I got to check my calendar because I've been asleep all day. But yeah, I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday at 9 p.m. We're going to have a great show. And yeah, you guys have a great gaming weekend. And I will see you in the nether regions. Peace.
That's goodness. Very articulate.
Isn't it weird
Pokemon.
how his snoring sounds like his fan? Anybody think about this?
It does. Doesn't sound like his fan.
Yeah,
but
right.
That's a very articulate Pokemon. I thought they could only say their name, but he said so. He has so many words. It's amazing.
Yes.
So sad that they're slaves, and we just keep Let me stop.
Yeah, please.
So
you don't
Pokemon.
have the right to talk bad about Pokemon, sir. You don't.
All right, so let's. Yeah,
look, it is what it is. They capture them against their will, force them into little balls, right? The only time they come out is when they get to fight their own people.
I don't know. Pikachu's always
their own brethren.
Pikachu's
you know, like
so
because he's a pet.
Pokemon should be illegal then,
right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, look,
Pikachu's a pet because he's cute.
All right, so
they let him walk
around
around because he's cute.
We gotta. Let's wrap it up because let's wrap this up because I gotta get to bed. Darth Revan, let everyone know they can find you, sir.
As Lord Snorlax, whatever you want to call it, said, DPS podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern on Gaming Forte's channel. We're gonna have a great time. We'll hear some snoring. We'll hear someone being force choked. You know, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And check out my channel, Slow Mo Backslap. I should have. I know I keep saying this, but I'm dead serious. I should have 2 videos out.
Oh, please stop.
I'm working on one as we speak.
Man, you just as bad as 343. Take forever to do that.
I'm that bad now. I definitely gotta get a video out now if I'm that bad. But no, I'm working on some stuff. So check out the channel. And yeah, DPS will be on it next week as well. So cool. Excuse me. Cool. Had a great show. Awesome. You guys have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you, Lord Revan, for joining us. Really appreciate it as always. Or Darth Revan. And then we got my man. Then we got my man B Money 101. If you didn't listen to B earlier, B dropped some nuggets that you should be paying attention
I ain't
to.
Drop nothing, man. Don't pay attention to that. I say.
B, let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation, wherever you may find me. I'll be on 2K until Battlefield comes out. So
no doubt,
looking
man.
for me. That's where I'm at.
No doubt. All right, B Money. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate everyone again, the live chat. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out with us. Big shout out to our guests, Mr. Badbit and Dark Optimus. Please give these gentlemen a follow. Check out DPS podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll catch you guys maybe this weekend for a BRAP rant. But if not, next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone have a great evening. We are out.